Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
So those words obviously came with some difficulty from Cory Booker. In his defense, he had been talking forever at that point. I think he started speaking while God was crafting like the skies and the earth and the animals, and he's just been going ever since then. But anyway, jokes aside, his record-breaking Senate speech, Cory Booker, attacking Elon Musk, attacking Donald Trump with good cause, is now done. It did break records. It was historic. 25 hours and 5 minutes. He didn't sit, he didn't exit the Senate chambers, he didn't eat, he didn't use a bathroom. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He didn't walk to the bathroom. We don't know if he didn't use the bathroom, but anyway, his speech broke by nearly an hour, a record set 68 years ago by Senator Strom Thurmond of South Carolina. Segregationist who at the time was trying to block civil rights legislation. A 68-year-old record, that's Senate history. I mean, most of us weren't even alive for that. Mitch McConnell was in his mid-50s, he remembers, nobody else does. And so we mentioned that prior record because that apparently was actually something that was on Cory Booker's mind. He says that it irked him that Thurmond held the previous record to, quote, stop people like me from being in the Senate. Now, he did his speech, 25 hours is a really long time. I can't imagine doing anything like that. It did get a lot of attention, which I think obviously was the point. He streamed it on his TikTok account. It generated more than 350 million likes, which for political content is a lot. Someone getting hit in the face with like a basketball probably has about twice that. But for politics, that's impressive, okay? More than 110,000 people were watching on YouTube when he ended his speech. And so that's a lot. And he sort of concluded it with this tweet saying, I may be tired and a little hoarse, but as I said again and again on the Senate floor, this is a moment where we cannot afford to be silent when we must speak up. What's most clear to me tonight is that this is just the beginning, that Americans across this country, no matter their title or party, are ready to be heard. I believe that history will show we rose to meet this moment. It will show we did not let the chaos and division go unanswered. It will show that when our president chose to spread lies and sow fear, we chose to come together, to work together, and to rise together. And so it's now in the history books. I have my thoughts. Frank Luntz has his thoughts. We might disagree a little bit, but Sharon, where do you come down on this event?
Look, I like Cory Booker, and I think he's an intentional man. I don't agree with everything, but I think he's a decent man who's in this for pretty much the right reasons, and he does a decent job. That said, I don't really give a damn about a record. There was no filibuster. There was no pending legislation. I mean, I understand he was giving the stories of New Jerseyans and Americans who are hurting. We gave you those stories and you regurgitated them back for 25 hours and 5 minutes. And then Chuck Schumer came in to become part of history, the historical record, and said, may I, and you have just broken the record. And I'm just sick of it. All the clapping, all the slaps on the back, all that I wanna thank this, and can you call on my mom? It's just, you don't get it. It's a metaphor for more. Is he the worst guy or worst example in DC? No, but it's a metaphor for what's broken in politics. Patting yourselves on the back. Did I see Bernie and AOC, who you mentioned earlier in the show, doing that? No. Listen. I want you to shut your mouths and listen, not preach or talk to us for 25 hours and 5 minutes. Like I said, I like him. I like the guy, but
I'm getting that.
Okay, and I feel bad. He's not the guy I want to go off on. There's a lot of people I want to go off on, but come on. What changed? Was something different after this speech? He went on Rachel Maddow's show after. I like her too. Just one moment, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna give it back. Okay, I can't keep going on and on. And I believe she's genuine too. She was crying. She had, I shouldn't say crying, I didn't see the tears, but there was like bubbles welling up, or bubbles, okay? The water was in her eyes. And I'm just like, and she said, first, how are you? Have you been asking and she's good at this, have you been asking the overnight nurse who's working for, I don't know how many hours straight, or the bus driver, or the grave digger? I mean, I could go on and on, or the single parent who can't make rent. I don't know. It's just, he's not the worst guy, but you guys don't get it. You gotta hang out with some other people. It's really
okay.
good.
Well, we're learning things, okay? If Sharon ever says, I like you, brace
No,
for
stop it.
impact because it's
No,
about to
stop
get
it.
rough. But anyway, okay, so you were more against it than I expected you to be. Probably slightly more against it. Like I've been saying I want the Democrats to do something, particularly in the Senate where it draws more attention. I have continually tried to get them to, I don't know, wiggle a little, like do something. And so this is something. It's doing something. Is it the right thing? Not necessarily. I mean, I think the most compelling criticism of this, and I've seen, I think some people express a similar thought in the chat, is like, do this at a specific time. Like, do this to stop the tax cuts for billionaires. Do this to stop, I don't know, whatever insane, I can't even follow what I don't know. We're gonna pack every trans person into a cargo ship and throw them into the sun. Whatever the Republicans are plotting right now. Rather than just to do it at a point, do it then. And I largely agree with that. I think there could be like the right moment to do it. That said, trying to draw attention and show that the Democrats are willing to do something, it's better than nothing. It's better than, I guess, everything else that Cory Booker has chosen to do over the last few weeks, which I didn't even know what it was because it hasn't generated any attention. So, and again, it's better than what most of the Democrats at the same time were doing.
What a standard.
But yes, it doesn't mean he's the most awesome person ever. It doesn't automatically mean that. Although some people are sort of talking about that. Frank Luntz, this is Graphic 6, says they're going crazy right now. This is the Republicans, and they're going crazy. Oh, sorry, this is, I think, Democratic voters he's referencing. They're going crazy right now, and they're going crazy because they don't see leadership in their own party. And I want to emphasize what Cory Booker did over the last 24 hours may have changed the course of political history. Of course, every Republican watching will say this is nonsense, but he's not speaking just to Republicans, he's speaking to Americans. And what I saw over the last 25 hours absolutely blew me away. And just as you sometimes make projections or predictions, I'm gonna do one right here. That speech puts Cory Booker as one of the leaders of the Democratic Party in 2028. Simmer down now, just slightly. Again, is it a good thing? Like, especially with Chuck Schumer being ostensibly the Democratic Senate leader, does this make me have a little bit more faith in a Cory Booker than a Chuck Schumer? Sure. Yes, I think it is raised his stock a little bit. Does this mean that in like 3 years, well, obviously he's a front runner? No, I don't think so. I mean, he's run before and it didn't exactly take off. Now that's true of Joe Biden. I'm not saying he won't be the candidate or whatever, but like, I don't think this is the only qualification. I mean, hell, if it's about giving speeches, like Bernie Sanders got like tens of thousands of people in like areas all across the country against oligarchy. He didn't do it for 25 hours or anything, but like, I don't think speeches are enough. Speeches are good, speeches are important. I'm not besmirching them, and I'm not fundamentally against what Cory Booker did, but let's just pump the brakes slightly on he's now the ostensible, like the front runner, okay? Any thoughts about that?
I think the brakes have to be slammed on, okay? Bernie's not gonna get these kind of accolades, and neither is AOC, because they're rabble rousers. They're not part of the club. They have to respect Bernie because he can draw people, but he's not part of the club. And that is the issue I have here, okay? I get it. Now listen, I could be completely wrong. There was, hundreds of thousands watching his TikTok, the live stream. People were, but a lot of them are diehard Democrats, in my opinion. I don't have data on it. I just think I had the luxury of working from home and eating bonbons, those little mini donuts too I was eating. Do you know how many people don't even know what he said? They don't know anything about this because they didn't have the luxury to be at home watching. They were out hustling, they were out getting it done. And I don't know that she energized them. It's just this little slightly out of touch thing. And yeah.
But she likes him.
I do like him. I think he's a swell guy. I enjoyed one story about his father, and his dad has Alzheimer's and he's in the bathroom and Cory has to help him, undo his zipper, and so someone walks in. It warmed my heart.
I didn't know
but
that. Yeah, and didn't he rush into a building and like save people from burning to death or something?
Oh, that.
I mean, that's,
like I said, I like him.
By the way, even that doesn't mean that we ignore, your stances on issues or whatever. If maybe you're
a hero.
you're not exactly independent enough from the Democratic donors and everything, and you're a little bit more of a centrist than, like, we're not ignoring that, but it is, it's individually a better thing than Donald Trump and Elon Musk have ever done in their entire lives. Brett is telling us he caught the pass against Notre Dame, which is a thing. And Vampire Queen says 2 things can be true at once. No, but that's the entire theme of this segment. We give credit where it's due. We criticize or ask for more, not in different days necessarily, in the same day.